In this tutorial we're going to take a look at creating something called an extra charge. An extra charge is something that is charged to a tenant and that is added to the tenant's rent arrears and is in addition to the actual rent due. So the tenant owes us the rent plus the extra charges. So we might want to charge them an extra charge for some additional things, like maybe we charge them for the use of water because we got metered water or something like that. So if I go to tenants and to create extra charges, there's a couple of ways of doing it. If I choose extra charges and then press add to add an extra charge, put in a description and an amount. Now down here there's a couple of ways that we can split the extra charges. We can select the tenants and we can say take that 100 and split the amount equally. So as you can see, it splits it. Or if I exclude one of the tenants, you'll see it splits it again 50-50. Or I can say charge the same amount to each tenant, or I can manually enter in the amount for each tenant. Like let's say I might enter 20 for this tenant, none for the next, and maybe 40 for that one. So in that case this total of 100 doesn't apply. You enter in the actual amounts for each tenant. And I'm going to press save. Now if I was to go to the tenant details screen itself and take a look at, there's a tab called extra charges. There's that extra charge that I just created, the amount of 20 for that tenant. I can also create extra charges through this screen directly, in which case we don't get to select the tenant or to split, we just enter a fixed amount. Let's say an amount of 100. So you can see two extra charges there for this tenant. Now if we go to the information tab for this tenant and we look down the bottom, here's these two extra charges that we just created, and these amounts are then adding to the running total, and so the total due is including of the rent plus the extra charges, and we subtract from that the payments. So as you can see, the extra charges are added just like renters. Now when a tenant comes to pay back those extra charges, we can create special income groups for this. So I've already got one here called water rates, and I've ticked this tick box down here which says that when I record an income transaction using this income group, this is used to pay back extra charges. If a tenant normally pays their rent and their extra charges as a single value, we can actually use the rent income group, tick the box which says this one is used to pay back rent, and also tick the box to say it's used to pay back extra charges as well. But in my case I've got a separate income group set up for the extra charges. So when I go to transactions, if I want to add a new income transaction, let's say the tenant has paid me money, I'm going to use my income group called water rates, record the amount that I received, select the property, and also select the tenant who has paid these extra charges, or the tenant that it applies to. And I'm going to press save. Now if I was to go and take a look at that tenant details screen again, go to the information tab, we can see the two extra charges. We can also see the payment of that extra charge as well. So that has reduced the total amount due from this tenant. So as you can see, extra charges are a way of adding additional money to the tenant for some additional services or something that we want them to pay for, and then we can use special income groups to record the payment of those extra charges.